into the future where the glass is half full and you'll need new glasses, where you'll be jumping from conclusions.
The past is annulled and a new future is born.
Never before in history has so much meant so little to so many. AD on the radio.
So have you ever heard of Zell Miller? Senator Zell Miller. Might not be all that familiar to you, unless you're listening in Atlanta or Georgia. Bit of a hometown hero in that part of the world. But if you're not familiar with Zell Miller, he's a guy that passed away. He had a good long run. He passed away this past Friday, just gone by, at the age of 86. And I think the thing about him that I found to be the most compelling and the most interesting was the fact that he had relationships and friendships that were, for want of a better expression, bipartisan. His funeral was attended by George W. Bush, Jimmy Carter, and Bill Clinton. He'd worked with all of them. And that's a useful thing to remember. Look at this guy. Look at this guy being able to get along with and work with various people. Look at them all showing up to honor his life and his achievements when he passes away. We're so ensconced in our differences that we can sometimes forget what makes us the same. And sometimes forget to focus on what makes us the same. We talk about this all the time on the show. What do you want? What do we all want? All of us. Left, right, up, down, center, wherever. We all want the same things. We all have some basic needs. We want to put a roof over our head. We want to have food in the fridge. We want to be able to do work. And hopefully that work is meaningful to us. If we have kids, we want those kids to have a shot. We want those kids to have a shot at an education. We want those kids to have a shot at a future. We all want the same stuff. What divides us more often than not is our idea of the best way to get there. And it's important to bear that in mind. We all want the same stuff. We just have different ideas of how to get there. And you know what? Honestly, I think that's a really useful thing. Our differences are what make us great. But we lose sight of that. We get lost in the conflict. We dig ourselves in. We're too eager to dismiss people that believe the path to what we all want that is slightly different than ours are evil, awful a-holes that hate America. When we should be talking to these folks. The old expression, too much agreement kills a conversation. If there's two people in a room having a chat and they all agree on everything, well, one of those people isn't necessary. So what if we were able to talk to people that believe different things in us? We could maybe gasp, what a concept, learn something from people that live differently than we did. And maybe, just maybe, by learning something from someone that believes something different than us and has had a different experience than us, we could get there quicker to that end goal that we all want. The roof, the fridge full of food, the meaningful work, the shot at a real life for our kids. And Zell Miller was a good reminder of that possibility. That possibility that, and it seems so far-fetched in 2018, that we could all kind of manage to get along and focus on what made us the same as opposed to what made us different. Paul Begala said it best at the service when he brought up Miller's famous quote, "My family is more important than my party," which is true because he only had one family. The three former presidents that were there, George W. Bush, Jimmy Carter, and Bill Clinton, all eulogized him at his service. Like I said, he died Friday at the age of 86. He was a senator. Carter and Miller once served together as state senators. Miller nominated his longtime friend Clinton at the Democrats' 1992 convention. As a senator, he bailed on his own party to back Republican Bush's 2004 reelection. And I really admire that. I admire someone who crosses party lines to do what they think is right. I really admire the ability to change and adapt so that rather than compromise yourself, by sticking to the knee-jerk reaction of, oh, I was raised in this party, I've always been part of this party. And I really admire the ability to jettison that useless baggage and cross party lines to do something meaningful that you feel in your heart of hearts is right. And I suppose the way this guy lived, Zell Miller, is a lesson to all of us. When you reach your final days, when people are honoring your life, you want people to be there because of the person you were and the friend that you were, not the party you were part of or who you voted for. So I'd like to thank Zell Miller for that reminder of what's important.
Say ho, ho, say ho, ho, ho. Let's start the show. Let's start the show.
Real radio.
104.1.
Where the left and right come together for fundamental truths. AD on the radio, on Twitter at ADSXE.
So you remember, Travis, how Donald Trump Jr. had an affair, allegedly, but he totally had an affair with Aubrey O'Day, the chick from Making the Band and Celebrity Apprentice. You recall this, and that's why he's getting divorced?
Allegedly, I do allegedly recall this, yes.
Well, there is one alleged addition to the situation that, if it's true, which allegedly it is, it blows my ever-loving mind. I don't understand it. It's something I don't relate to whatsoever. It was something that Donald Trump Jr. and Aubrey O'Day apparently were planning on doing that I don't see the purpose. I don't get it. Maybe I just don't relate to extraordinarily rich, powerful dudes, but I don't understand why he would want to do this with Aubrey O'Day. What was it? We'll get into it a little later on in the show. In addition to introducing her over and over again to little Donald Trump, he wanted to do something very specific with her that I just don't understand. But right now, let's talk about baseball. It's opening day. It is opening day. I'm so unbelievably excited. My New York Mets, who could, by the way, wind up at the very top of the heap or at the very bottom of the barrel. Like, there's so many variables. And I don't even know if it's going to be immediately obvious how things are going. We've got a brand new manager who's never managed in Mickey Callaway. We've got all sorts of questions in the lineup. We've got incredible potential in our pitching rotation. And we also have incredible potential for everything to go hideously wrong and for it to fall down like a house of cards. If we make it to the point where we're a 500 team this year, then I'm going to be stoked. Anything above that is gravy. That's what I'm telling myself going in. But it doesn't matter. I love them when they win. I love them when they lose. I love my Mets. I'm so happy that it's opening day. You know what I love about baseball? You know what I think is, like, if I have a kid, I really hope they play baseball. Not just because I'm a baseball fan, but there's something about baseball which makes it a magical balance of personal responsibility and the ability to play well with others. That's, I think, the thing that I appreciate the most about it. When you look at football, did you play football growing up, Travis? What sports did you play? Did you play any?
No, honestly, I didn't. I wish so much that I had played baseball. I didn't really have any interest in football. After high school, I played like club lacrosse and club ice hockey. But other than that, I didn't really. Like inside of school, I never played any sports. I didn't want to play football, and really wanted to. I should have played baseball.
Here's the thing that I loved so much about baseball, and I think is intrinsically valuable. You take a tremendous amount of personal responsibility, especially if you're something like a pitcher. You've got the weight of the world on your shoulders, but you're also playing as part of a team. Football, I'm not knocking football in any way, shape, or form, but football to me is sort of like a game of chess. Football to me is a game of chess between two 55-year-old men that happen to be the coaches. They've all got the same pieces on the board. They move in similar ways, and they just kind of hopefully execute in the way you tell them to. Like, you move the chess pieces around the way you want them to be moved, and really it's sort of down to that. Whereas baseball, We are a nation of individuals. We are a nation that celebrates individual liberty and personal responsibility, and baseball is about that. Baseball is an intrinsically American thing. Like, if you ask me, football is a little commie. Football is sort of a pinko commie game. You play your part and you play it well, comrade. You run the ball the way I tell you to run the ball. That is your purpose. Whereas baseball, you got a chance to individually blaze a trail as well as being part of a team. That's why I think baseball is America's pastime. It's such an intrinsically American thing in that it builds such character, and it also teaches you to play well with others. It's great. Baseball is the best. It's freaking awesome. It's also unbelievably expensive to be a diehard fan of baseball. It's opening day for Major League Baseball, so if you love sitting through hours of commentary for 12 minutes of action the way I do, you too should be pumped. So someone looked at everything from season ticket prices to how much hot dogs are and ranked each team according to how much it costs if you're a diehard fan.
Oh, nice.
Who do you suppose the most expensive team is? Like, if you're a diehard fan, what's the most expensive team to be a fan of?
I know I'm wrong, but like, it seems like almost common sense that I want to say the New York Yankees are the most expensive team to be a fan of. But that's just because like everything seems like you're supposed to believe it's always more expensive in New York. But I'm probably not right on that.
Well, I mean, I think you're not far wrong. You look at the most expensive cities, you go, okay, all right, New York Yankees or San Francisco Giants or maybe the San Diego Padres or maybe, what's another big expensive city? Oh, Chicago. And that would be it. The Chicago Cubs are the most expensive team for fans this year. Just under $16,000 if you went to every single home game. And their crosstown rivals are one of the cheapest teams, just under $5,500. That includes the tickets, parking, food, drinks, and one hat and custom baseball jersey. The three most expensive teams are the Cubs at $15,723, Red Sox at $12,712, and then Yankees at $12,547. I think what makes the Yankees cheaper is you can take the subway to the games and not pay for parking. I honestly think that figures into it in a big way. The three cheapest teams, those would be the Angels, the White Sox, and last, certainly not least, the Rays. Yeah, so there you go. If you're looking to save money but still love the sport of baseball, somehow transform yourself into a Rays fan and you'll be good to go.
On the mic, we paid every day, and we're part of the battle. Just about time, better act like you know. Come on.
For more stimulation and less irritation, 9 out of 10 doctors choose KPRC AM 950, Houston's more stimulating talk radio.
Don't get the blues, get all the news. We mean all of you guys out there in Radio Land. All aboard!
He's back. AD on the radio.
Give it up, yeah. Give it up, yeah. Bring this on, come on, come on.
So, in addition to repeatedly introducing her to Donald Trump Jr., Donald Trump Jr. had big plans with his alleged mistress, Aubrey O'Day, the one that allegedly caused his divorce. The only thing that is not alleged about this situation is the divorce. That's definitely a thing that is happening. But I couldn't fathom. If this is true, this extra wrinkle to the Donald Trump Jr. Aubrey O'Day affair, if this is true, I don't understand it. This has nothing to do with politics, by the way. It's just something where I look at it and go, why? Why would you want to? What would the purpose of? Clearly, I don't get it. And we'll get into all that a little later on in the show. Right now, though, we're talking about the fact that it's Major League Baseball's opening day. There's a good chance that by the time you hear this, you will either be celebrating or commiserating, depending on what time your team plays. But as we were talking about, the most expensive team in all of baseball to be a fan of, that would be the Chicago Cubs. The cheapest would be the Tampa Bay Rays. The average for all 30 teams is just under $8,000 to see every home game, and the average ticket price is about $65. Average price of a jersey, $125. A hat, $16 hat. I've never paid less than like $25 for a Mets hat. Am I getting ripped off? How much would you pay for a hat, Travis?
I think I usually pay somewhere between like $20 and $30. I mean,
Yeah.
I usually go to like Lids or New Era store. I mean, so I'm trying to think. Sometimes like at Lids, you'll get that deal like 2 for $40 or something like that. Or, I mean, they have all kinds of good deals. Don't get me wrong. But like, usually I'll go in and I'm looking for one hat and, I can't. And they're like, oh, but if you buy 2 today, and I'm like, yeah, but I'm looking around and I had a hard enough time finding this one hat that I love. I'm like, I don't want a second hat right now. Do I want 2 of this hat? Maybe I can use one as my dress hat and one as a workout hat, but I'm like, I only need one hat right now. But yeah, I think they're like $20 to $30 is what I usually pay.
Yeah, I don't know where people are getting these $16 hats. And you know what? I actually have a very difficult time buying baseball hats. This is how much of a ridiculous Mets fan I am. I have the Germanic trait of an enormous Charlie Brown melon head. I've got a really big head. So I wear a 7 5/8 hat. Now, you can buy 7 5/8 hats everywhere, but it's not like the distance around my big pie plate of a head that makes a difference. It's how deep that hat is. So like I get a normal hat for a normal person and I go to pull it down and it just looks like it's perched on top of a blonde haystack. It looks freaking ridiculous. It looks too small. It makes me look like an absolute chump. So I found a company online that makes blank hats that cost me something like $12 a pop, and I buy them and then it's so stupid, but I do this. I iron on Mets patches to the front of them. Yeah, it's cool, but like I have to make my own hats because normal person hats don't fit me. So like I got to buy the hat for like $12 and then the patch is like an extra $5. So I guess I wind up spending like $17 or $18 making my own bootleg Mets hats. What's funny though is like a couple people see them, I'm like, that's awesome. Where'd you get that? I'm like, made it.
I don't think I've seen you so much in person. I don't think I ever noticed that you have a giant dome. Like, this all comes very, very shocking to me. I can't believe you can't find a hat that fits. But granted, I'm the kind of guy
I can find plenty of hats that fits, but they're all the sort of like cheap knockoff gas station variety. For some reason, they make those really big. If I go to Lids or if I go to, I don't know, where the hell else sells hats at the mall? If I just order one online from like the MLB shop or something like that, it guaranteed it won't fit me.
Really?
Yeah. Yep. It looks stupid. So you've seen me in hats. Everybody that knows me knows I'm a big fan of the baseball hat. However, most of those are sort of bootleg that I made at home, and I'm glad you hadn't noticed.
Yeah, that's crazy. Wow. I'm impressed. You should go into the hat making business because they all looked awesome to me.
You know what else I buy? I buy these all the time because like I'm an out of market Mets fan. Free shirt Friday at the stadium, like I'll go on eBay that Friday and buy them. Like there's people that just get their free shirts and while they're at the stadium, they put them on eBay and I'll buy them just cause I can't get them. And mostly they're like, I rarely pay more than $10 for them. But because of that, every time the Mets win, I tend to buy myself a Mets t-shirt. So I've got like a closet that's just swollen with orange and blue. I'm pretty much, some guy asked me the other day, he's like, how many of those do you have? I was like, pretty much one for every day of the year. I could probably go through. I don't know if I'd go that far, but I don't have to repeat myself too often. Anyways. Average jersey, $125. A hat, $16. A beer, $5.90. A soda, $4.13. A hot dog, $4.52, and $16 for parking. You know how seriously I take being an out-of-market baseball fan? Like I want as close to the baseball experience, the baseball park experience as I can get. So if you go to... No, this is delicious. You're going to thank me for this. Hold your incredulity and get ready to applaud, my friend, because this is the best. You know Costco?
Yeah.
They have the hot dogs?
Yeah.
So, and Costco also has chili. You ever bought Costco chili?
I don't know that I have actually. No, I'm not going to lie to you. I know for a fact that no, I have not ever bought Costco chili.
So you don't even have to be a Costco member because a lot of Costco's have these little food kiosks where you can go and buy in whatever. They have pizza. They have those weird chicken wraps. You ever had one of those? Like it's this breaded chicken. Yeah.
That's really good.
They've got like these berry smoothies. Yeah, no, it's all not bad. But if you get a Costco hot dog or a Costco Polish sausage and you get Costco chili and you put the chili on the dog, that is as close to a ballpark dog as you're going to experience outside of a ballpark, my friend. So Generally speaking, if I'm going to watch the game on TV at home on a Sunday, I'll head over to Costco beforehand, get myself a Costco hot dog and chili, and have like ballpark chili dogs while I'm watching the game on TV. You're welcome. You're welcome in advance.
I'm not a huge hot dog fan. Like, I know it's probably like sacrilegious.
Neither am I, except for baseball season.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, totally. I think the only time I ever want to eat hot dogs is during, like, there's something about a ballpark dog. It's the weird tradition. It's the weird kind of, I don't know what it is. It's the Pavlovian response to baseball. Your mouth, they ring the opening day bell and you salivate, and all of a sudden you want to eat chili dogs. The teams giving out the most free stuff are the Cardinals, the Dodgers, the Cubs, my New York Mets, and the Pirates. Bottom 5 are the Marlins, the A's, the Diamondbacks, the Red Sox, and the Phillies. Yep. Spring is here, baseball, and back in honor of 2018's opening day. Here's Bugs Bunny, backed up by John Fogerty, doing center field.
Attention, please. Attention. There's been a slight change in the teetotaler lineup. Catching, Bugs Bunny. Left field, Bugs Bunny. Right field, Bugs Bunny. Pitching, Bugs Bunny. Third base, Bugs Bunny. Center field, Bugs Bunny. First base, Bugs Bunny. Shortstop, Bugs Bunny. Second base, Bugs Bunny.
That's the old pepper boy. That's the old pitching. Let's put it over the old plate, boy. Come on, little boy. Give me your big league ball. Come on, boy, 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 boy.
Put me in cold. I'm ready to play today. Look at me. I could be center field.
You're out.
Where do you get that malarkey? I'm safe.
I said you're out.
You know, in general, I think people don't use the word malarkey enough.
Oh, I would agree. I agree.
I think we should try and bring this back. So do you got a favorite? Do you think someone's going all the way? Do you have a prediction for this year's baseball season, Travis?
It's so hard to say, man. I don't know. Will the Astros pull it off again? I don't know.
I mean, look, the Houston Astros are an incredible team. They're sort of my secondary team. I moved from New York to Houston, and it took me a while. It took me a while to develop affection for a team that was referred to by everybody in that town as the Lastros when I first got there. I'll never forget turning on local sports when I was like, okay, what's the deal with the Astros? And I was like, and in sports, the Astros find a new way to lose. I was just like, oh, it's like that. I was like, this reminds me of being a Mets fan. So there's that. But I developed a passion for the Astros just because, you live in Houston for over a decade and you have to. And then also they became a baseball team the same year the Mets did. They wear a lot of orange the way the Mets do. And, they have diehard fans don't care if they win or if they lose the way the Mets do. And so to see them come from where they were, where, like a decade ago, they were called the Lastros and they're often in last place. And local television news joked about how they found a new way to lose at all times. Like to see them win the World Series last year was incredible. And if it wasn't so difficult to repeat, I would say the Astros would do it again this year because they're still an absolutely amazing team. I mean, you got the question mark of how much gas does Verlander have left in the tank. But I mean, if it wasn't so hard to repeat, I think there's no reason why the Astros can't go all the way. What do you reckon?
It's tough. I don't know. I don't know. There's a reason I don't bet, and it's partially because of a gambling problem, but the other reason is because I'm just not knowledgeable enough on it. I don't know. It'd be cool to see. It would be cool to see a repeat. I'm definitely pulling for him, but
well, Vegas says the Astros. An online sports book has the Astros as the favorite, with the Dodgers, Yankees, Indians, Cubs, Nationals close behind in that order. The longest odds are a three-way tie between Miami Marlins, Detroit Tigers, and the Kansas City Royals, which are all 500 to 1, which is crazy. Kansas City won in 2015. They beat my Mets, much to my chagrin. And it's just, that I think, look, it's a classic example of why it's so hard to repeat. Like they were absolutely incredible in 2015, and now they're 500 to 1 just a few years later. A panel of 29 ESPN experts who are torn on who's going to win the World Series found ESPN surveyed their baseball expert to get predictions for the upcoming baseball season. 21 of the 29 experts think the Yankees will take the American League East. I mean, this is why people hate the Yankees. You got Stanton and Judge on the same team. Like, it's just ridiculous the number of home runs that they're probably going to put up this year. And that's why people say, oh, I can never remember the comic who said it, but it's so right. This is why people have a problem with the Yankees, because cheering for the Yankees is like going to Vegas and cheering for the house. It's just, they buy up all the awesome. And, you got Stanton and Judge on the same team. It's lights out. Probably. Although they found recently that, the new theory is like home run hitters are fun to watch, but it doesn't necessarily win baseball games. Like teams that can put up a lot of home runs aren't necessarily going to be winning. I mean, the Mets, they were home run kings for a little while, and they managed to lose in incredible fashion while hitting plenty of home runs. So I guess there's that. A lot of people think the Cleveland Indians will take the American League Central. Minnesota Twins got the other 2 votes. All 29 experts think the reigning World Series champions, the Houston Astros, Travis, will win the American League West. All experts think that the Washington Nationals will be coming out of the National League East. 28 think that the Chicago Cubs will win the National League Central, with the Milwaukee Brewers getting the other vote. All 29 experts think that the LA Dodgers will win the National League West. So there you go. I don't know. I'm just so beyond excited. Like, when baseball season ends, I'm literally counting down the days till first pitch of the next season. And when it comes back, I'm like, this is amazing. Because otherwise I got nothing. Like it's just like, it's all I got. It's a little sad, but it's all I got. We do have some news. Shall we do some news, Travis?
Oh, I think we should. Star Wars fans are worried about reports of turmoil on the set of the Han Solo movie.
I guess they're concerned that the director is going to be making a lot of Wookiee mistakes. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
There you go. Hey, they said the same thing about Justice League, and oh wait, never mind, that was not good. DC can't make a decent movie. I feel bad for them. They start off with such great intentions. They have such massive budgets, and they make movies that do really well, but they're just, I know people that work for DC, and how was Suicide Squad? Made so much money, but how was it? And this is your company. What else?
Going to concerts can make you live longer.
Oh, I could see that. Yeah. Little youthful exuberance in your life. I could especially see that going to Coldplay concerts would help you live longer. Only because that way you can catch up on your sleep. One more piece of news.
Tuesday night's exhibition game between the Dodgers and the Angels at Dodger Stadium was called in the 5th inning because of a sewage spill near the outfield.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's a crappy way to start the season. And now Dodger Stadium has 2 extremely foul poles.
Sometimes you just know you're done. You're longing for that shining sun. You walk these streets most every day. You're waiting to get washed away. Radio. 104.1.
Now, more AD on the radio.
So you and I will talk about the added wrinkle to the Donald Trump Jr. Aubrey O'Day situation that it's not political in any way, shape, or form. I just can't freaking believe it. If this is true, which allegedly it is, it just makes no sense to me. I just can't relate to the thinking that goes into Donald Trump Jr. and Aubrey O'Day wanting to do this. What is this? We'll get into that a little later on. Right now, though, Travis, let's continue with what remains of the news. What else is going on in the world?
Walmart says it will no longer keep Cosmopolitan magazine at its checkout stands because it's hypersexualized. Right. Yeah, you don't want to turn up the sexiness of Walmart because it's already at a 10.
No, I guess this is the work. Okay, I don't know if it's the work of a conservative anti-porn group, but they're taking credit for it. A spokesperson for Walmart says, as with all products in our store, we continue to evaluate our assortment and make changes. Walmart will continue to offer Cosmopolitan to customers that wish to purchase the magazine, but it will no longer be located in the checkout aisles. While this was primarily a business decision, the concerns raised were heard. And those concerns came from, you ever heard of these folks, Travis? The National Center on Sexual Exploitation?
No, I haven't.
They're a conservative group formerly known as Morality in Media, and they said, thanks to the change, you can go through and buy your groceries with your family, knowing that you don't have to be exposed to this graphic and often degrading, offensive material. Instead, all of these magazines will be moved in isolation to magazine racks. Such a moral victory. It's going to be 5 to 10 feet away from where it was originally. Huzzah! The country's safe yet again. Not today, Satan.
Oh my God! So they're leaving it in the magazine section. They're just getting it out of the candy bar aisle.
Yeah, and this is years of work, by the way. They spent years lobbying Walmart to remove Cosmo, which they deem porn, from store shelves. In 2015, they were behind a push to place the magazine behind blinders in stores owned by Rite Aid and Delhaize America, which I guess owns Hannaford stores and Food Lion. They said this is one less drop of hypersexualized media that is going to be bombarding people in their everyday lives, which does make a difference, especially in this Me Too culture we're living in, where we really want a culture that will respect women and ensure their dignity is understood. I get that. I do understand that. And I do feel as though the exploitation of the female body is something that you got to keep an eye out for. And it's down to publishers and folks like that to do the right thing. But correct me if I'm wrong, Travis. I don't believe I've ever read an issue of Cosmo Magazine. Like, I don't think that's ever been a thing for me. I think that's aimed primarily at women. Do guys? Oh my gosh. Did we talk about this on the show or off the air? We talked about it on the show the other day. Weren't you accused once by a female friend of yours of not being able to master your domain, of treating your body like an amusement park, to her copy of Cosmo in her room?
I was accused of not being king of my castle using a copy of Cosmopolitan magazine that happened to be flung on her bed because I just picked up a magazine. I was like, oh, what's this? Looked at it, tossed it on her bed. Nothing, literally complete. The most innocent act that could have ever happened. By the way,
tossed it on her bed, probably the least fortunate choice of words ever, but go on.
I apologize. That was a slip of the tongue. That's probably not appropriate either. No.
Yeah. Moving right along.
Awkward. Anyway.
But she accused you of engaging in the old shuffle of the 5-knuckle variety to her copy of Cosmo. Was it her copy of Cosmo?
It was her. Yeah. I mean, I don't think guys... I'm not saying guys can't read it, and I'm not saying that guys are wrong for reading it, but yes, I think that I've always understood it to be a female magazine. So, yeah, she thought that I was enjoying myself with her Cosmo magazine, and I wasn't. I just picked it up and was like, oh, what's this? Kind of flipped through it, thumbed through it, and set it back down. And, got accused.
Well, there you go. Not today, Satan. Walmart will no longer keep Cosmo magazine as checkout stands because it's hypersexualized. You'll have to look 5 feet to your right to get it. There you go. But how will I learn about the hottest diet tips while I'm checking out? Replied no one who's ever shopped at a Walmart ever. Okay, go on.
Yeah. President Trump fired Veteran Affairs Secretary David Shulkin.
How long has Shulkin been in there? Do we know? Like, I mean, I'm sure it's, I should have done the responsible thing and Googled this beforehand, but,
I'm not sure. I assure you he's not setting any records.
I mean,
yeah.
If there's one thing that we agree on over and over again on this show, it's that the treatment of our veterans in this country is despicable. The fact that 1 out of every 3 homeless men is a veteran is just absolutely freaking cotton-picking insane. So, who knows why he fired Veterans Affairs Secretary David Shulkin, but Maybe it's the right thing to do, maybe it's the wrong thing to do, but any changes or any movement forward in terms of how our veterans are treated after their service is something I classify as a good thing. I wonder who the replacement's going to be. You know what? Trump should run the department himself. After all, what he doesn't know about veterans, he more than makes up for with affairs. So there's that. What was that campaign promise? Like, I'm gonna get a veterans hotline straight to the White House. There's gonna be like a bat phone in my room where veterans can just call me and tell me what the hell is wrong. I don't think that particular campaign promise ever materialized. But look, if he's making some real strides to improving the situations for veterans, I don't care who does that. I'm all for it. Oh, one more piece of news.
And just so you know, he did take the position February 14th, 2017. So just over a year.
Just over a year. Okay.
All right. Former Disney Channel star Caroline Sunshine is joining the White House press office as an assistant.
Well, I mean, her experience on the Disney Channel is probably going to help most when working for President Trump, in that she spent years and years learning how to communicate effectively with children. So I like this move. I think this is a smart move. This is one of the best moves.
Leave the stimulation to the professionals.
Everyone is so smart.
KPRC, more stimulating talk radio.
There's something happening here, and you should know what it is. The dumbing up of America. Now, more AD on the radio.
So, Travis, do me a favor. That last news headline we had about the White House press assistant, the new White House press assistant. Read it again, would you?
Former Disney Channel star Caroline Sunshine is joining the White House press office as an assistant.
Now, I'll wait. Are you able to go to Caroline Sunshine's Wikipedia page?
I can.
Yeah, go ahead and do that, would you? And then when you do get there, read me
I'm there.
The first descriptive line. What do you see?
The very, very first line?
The first line about her at the top of the page.
Okay. At the very top of the page.
Mm-hmm.
Caroline Moore Sunshine is an American actress, dancer, singer, Satan worshiper, and political operative currently working for U.S. President Donald Trump as a White House press assistant.
No, you don't have to go much further than that.
No,
I was wondering, so like occasionally, anybody can change what the hell is written on Wikipedia, right?
Yeah, that'll get cleaned up.
I don't know if you've ever changed any. Have you ever changed anything on Wikipedia?
Yeah, I've done edits, but they were for good, not for bad.
So there's been times where other people just leave nasty reviews on Yelp. There's been times where I've had a lousy experience at, say, I don't know, Wal-Mart, and I just I deleted the entire Wikipedia because anybody can edit that stuff. So I was when I changed Wikipedia's the Wikipedia entry for Walmart, it just said Walmart is the worst, and that's all it said. And a millisecond later, it was changed back to the other thing, and I was no longer allowed to make changes on Wikipedia. They're not from this IP address, you don't. Not today, Satan. But hold on, let me just rephrase. My point is, when you make changes to Wikipedia with bizarre things, Wikipedia catches it and changes it super quick. So I'm just going to refresh and see if she's still a Satan worshiper.
She is. Oh, that's funny. That's hilarious. Wow.
I don't think it says anything about her Satan worshiping a little later. Oh, you know what, Travis? Can you take a screenshot of this just so we can tweet it and
Yeah, of course.
And have it as a record, because eventually it's going to get changed back. But I was just what do we know about this Caroline Sunshine? Oh, so kudos to whoever went in and did that. Oh, well played. You've got entirely too much time on your hand, but you made us laugh, so there you go. All right, what else?
So funny. Department of Education says there's been a huge drop in bullying over the last decade or so.
Yeah, this is encouraging stuff. We talked about it on the show yesterday. I don't know if you caught it or not, but it's encouraging stuff because, well, do you know what the best way to stop a bully is, Travis? Like, it's been proven scientifically over and over again. What's the best way to stop somebody from being a bully?
I honestly don't have a clue.
It takes one person in their surroundings going, hey, don't do that. We don't approve of that. That's not cool. Don't be a bully. That's unacceptable behavior. 9 times out of 10, a bully will be stopped in their tracks by a fellow student, a fellow child disapproving. Now, this is, with childhood bullies, but it just takes people standing up and going, that's not cool. And so the fact that youth over the last 10 years has grown enough of a conscience and taken enough action to eat into bullying this way just says to me that people are standing up and standing up for what they believe is right. And that's a useful quality to have in the adults of tomorrow. So I'm pretty stoked about that. I could be way the hell off. Who knows why bullying is dropping, but I think that's probably it. And I think I've seen it in action before too. It was weird. I was around a bunch of kids a little while ago. I was in a store and there was a large group of kids. I think it was some sort of scouting excursion. And I remember just being struck with how nice they were being to each other. It wasn't sort of like weird or it wasn't, over the top. I was just like, wow, these kids actually genuinely seem to care about each other's feelings. And it wasn't sort of like this touchy-feely new age type of garbage. It was just like they were cool to one another. They were helping each other out. They were helping each other find things they needed, helping each other navigate the store. And I was just like, a very different experience to what I remember hanging out with kids when I was younger, where it was constant intimidation. I was like, look at these kids being cool and looking out for each other. Well, maybe there is hope for the future. There you go.
Yeah. That's interesting. Is there any chance that you were actually in Canada? Because they're just...
It could have been a Canadian field trip to America. I did notice them purchasing large amounts of maple syrup, so
that's what it was.
Right,
you woke up in Canada and you just didn't realize it. It's sorry to break
sorry.
it to you.
The fact that all the kids rode off on their moose was probably a dead giveaway as well. But yeah, Department of Education says there's been a huge drop in bullying in the schools over the last decade or so. Still alive and well on the president's Twitter account, but the future is encouraging as hell. Go on.
Yesterday was Manatee Appreciation Day.
Oh, how can you not appreciate a manatee, especially if you're Jim Gaffigan?
My favorite animal is the manatee, the sea cow. The manatee is endangered with extinction, and I think it's because it's out of shape. It looks like a retired football player. Ever see the manatee on the Discovery Channel? It's always floating around like, I'm bloated. Too much pizza for me. The manatee is also called the sea cow. Sea cow, that sounds like an insult. It's almost as if the manatee was introduced to the ocean. The other animals were like, who's the new guy? The manatee was like, oh, hi, everyone. You can call me the manatee. Yeah, right, sea cow. Name's Manatee. Sea cow, fat. Tubby. Quit it. I'd love to see the manatee on a show like Ricky Lake. The manatee be sitting there like, Ricky, I'm here because I'm endangered. And then one of those mean people in the audience would offer up the advice, yeah, I want to say something to the sea pig. That's sea cow, whatever. Sea pig, you a fat seal, you got to get yourself an education and a job. Manatee be like, I live in the ocean. Just so happen you live in the ocean because you ain't got no job. You got to get in Weight Watchers, some kind of program. I have a layer of blubber to keep my body warm in the water. Whatever, talk to the hand. I don't have a hand.
Do you remember, speaking of Wal-Mart, it's so genius. Jim Gaffigan is an epic genius. Do you remember a few years back? Do you remember that? Oh wait, no, it wasn't Walmart. Was it Walmart? Was it Target?
So it was Target.
It was Target. And it was only in the plus size dresses, but they had a color called manatee gray. Do you remember this? So not cool.
Yes. Target stores have officially apologized for calling the color of their plus size dress on their website manatee gray. Apparently when you bought it in any other size, it was called heather gray. But when you got it in the plus size, it was called manatee gray. Oh, they're also getting rid of the Winnebago white. That's out. That is out. And the lard-ass lavender. That's gone, too. The lard-ass lavender. Both are out. Both are gone. I love that story.
I love the manatee.
Wow.
There you go. Another day relevant to Walmart shoppers. Oh, no, Target shoppers. That was insensitive of them. Go on.
It was 152 years ago this week that Andrew Rankin received a patent for the urinal.
Oh, no kidding. Also 152 years ago this week, the phrase, if you shake it more than once, you're playing with it, was first uttered. No matter how you shake and dance, the last few drops go in your pants. That's what I heard. I've never had that problem. I've always managed to...
Really?
I've always been fastidiously clean. You know, I that's sort of like a thought worse than death. Having a little after effect in your. No.
My God! Well, I'm like obsessively clean, but my God, I'm a dribbler. Like it's a problem, like a real big, terrible problem.
Really? I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
I'm also sorry for whoever the hell does your laundry. That's wow.
Yeah, I know.
But don't you like get up in the middle of the night a bunch of times for
Yeah.
Wow.
I know.
There you go. I've never been competitive about this sort of thing in the past before, but I now feel slightly smug and a little superior that I don't have to get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom yet. I think maybe I'm just...
I do want you to know, as tired as I am in the middle of the night when I get up and go to the bathroom, the last time that I did it, I thought about you, and I thought about the discussion, and I wasn't happy.
Well, bow to my superior bladder strength. For yea, verily, I rule. All right, more news. Let's move right the hell along.
Amazon tops a new list of the most desirable places to work.
No kidding. That's a stark contrast to what I heard about it. Like I heard like people pushing themselves to the brink of exhaustion and near death around Christmas time and Black Friday and stuff like that. I heard like I can't remember who it was, but a friend of mine has a husband that was in the military and had been through boot camp and all this kind of really rigorous, brutal stuff. And she was like, nope, Black Friday working at Amazon fulfillment, that was worse. Like, I was like, no kidding. Oh, there you go.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if it's like Amazon corporate is the most desirable place to work as opposed to fulfillment.
Or who knows? I mean, you know, maybe people like this guy spoke up and said, my feet are bleeding after Black Friday. And they went, oh, heavens to Murgatroyd. We've got literally all the money in the world. Why don't we make it a little nicer place to work? So who knows? Maybe they respond to their employees' needs, asks, and wants. But yeah, Amazon tops the new list of the most desirable places to work in the world. So better luck next time, Chinese iPhone factory. What else?
Quentin Tarantino turns 55 this week.
Oh, yeah. It's a great tradition at his birthday parties. He eats the cake before blowing out the candles, and everybody lines up to tell him what a brilliant idea it was. Yeah, see what I did there? It's a brilliant plot device, starting at this sort of like nail-biter portion of the movie and then working backwards to see how you get there. And he does it over and over and over and over again. He's kind of a one-trick pony when it comes to that part of his storytelling. But it works every single time. I'm like, oh, here I am, sucked in. Oh, now I'm going to get the backstory. You've done it again, Tarantino. Oh, damn. We've got 60 seconds left to talk about what the hell is going on with Aubrey O'Day.
Oh,
and
my God.
Donald Trump Jr. Well, I guess the confusing part to me is why this would be necessary. But apparently Donald Trump Jr. and Aubrey O'Day's affair was way more than a one-night stand. So much so that they were talking about having a family together during the affair. Yeah, thank you. Do you understand this? Do you relate to this at all?
No.
No, neither do I, especially when you consider the fact that he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, count them, 5 children already. I just don't understand this billionaire mentality of I can't keep it in my pants, and more to the point, I want more of me everywhere. I must spread my DNA across the planet, for yea, verily, I am Donald Trump's son, and the world needs more of this. And you know what? I honestly think that's how he talks in these situations.